Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Zachary Dickinson here. Hope you all have had a wonderful time, a wonderful week lately, as I've been away and gone. Just didn't make time to make any videos and lack motivation to do so. So today's video will be the last of for a little while at least, for Star Wars. As today we'll be talking a little bit about Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I won't really do any timestamps. I'm just going to do this off the wrist, off the hand, or whatever, off the cuff, whatever you want to say. And so I talked about Maul's Shadow Lord. I talked about Star Wars Rebels. I'm now going to talk about another Star Wars show, which I would consider these three to effectively be the big three in Star Wars, at least in animation. They aren't really the big three yet in overall TV shows in Star Wars, because Andor does exist, and Andor is one of the best Star Wars TV shows out there. So, I'll start off with a few bad things about the Clone Wars. One of the bad things about Star Wars: The Clone Wars is the fact that in the beginning, and up until around mid to late season 2 or around season 3, all the arcs that pretty much happen are really just in flux and appear all throughout different parts of the Clone Wars. And so, because the Malevolence arc ap- doesn't happen towards the beginning of the Clone Wars, it happens like a few months to a year in. All of it does, however, happen after the Clone Wars movie at the very least. However, a lot of season 1, season 2, and part of season 3 is all in flux, and so if you ever want to watch in chronological order, you have to watch the show in a very weird fashion. And so that's one of the bad parts about the whole show. The whole show is amazing and great. It's just a little weird and hard to rewatch the show because it's not in all one chronological order. Now, I don't mind following more than just Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and Anakin. I don't mind following Yoda or Mace or Plo Koon or Kit Fister or any of them. I we all know some of the best episodes are with the trio of Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka, but um, it's all really good fun and games. I would also say that if you're ever going to watch or rewatch the Clone Wars, I would say around season 3, you have to wait pretty much 2 full or so seasons until the show gets to its best parts, because seasons 3, 4, 5, and 7 are the best seasons. I won't say too much on season 6, because also primarily Ahsoka doesn't appear much, and primarily Yoda is in season 6 as well, and also season 6 I have the least memories about. I've watched parts and most of season 4, season 7 multiple times because it's a nostalgic bit and it's only 5 years old. I say 3, 4, 5, and 7 because 3 is around the time, because those couple of seasons are whenever you get the Umbara arcs, the Mortis arc, you get Maul creating the syndicate groups, you get the Mandalore stuff with Bo-Katan, with the Duchess, with Obi-Wan. Season 7, you get the introduction of the Bad Batch, the reintroduction of Echo. You also have at some point in 3, 4, or 5 the whole prison arc thing. You have Ahsoka on her own. You have the Jedi bombing incident. You have Obi-Wan and the Council faking Obi-Wan's death. You have also Boba Fett trying to enact his vengeance upon Mace Windu. The list goes on, because at this point in the show, really you just hit a point where just about every arc hits, and you have a bunch of arcs that are very easily recognized as one of the best arcs of the Clone Wars show. And that happens around once to twice every single one of these seasons. And pretty much the end point of season 5 ends with Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order. And with how episode 3, aka Revenge of the Sith, kind of mapped out, you had to wriggle around a few factors. One, you can't have Rex in the movie because Rex isn't mentioned in the movie, so Rex can't be in or around Anakin because it would be very hard for how is his commander or captain of his clone legion not with him. You have to explain that. By introducing Ahsoka, you have to get rid of her in time for Revenge of the Sith as well. Um and stuff like that. And also I would say if you're a movie purist, you're fine, but also if you want to get expanded, this is filmed at past 11 p.m., so I may yawn. Forgive me. But back to the point. So if you want expanded lore of many different things, um if you want expanded lore on many different things, even more than just a book, because the books give much expanded lore on the episodes, but the show expands upon how Anakin is a decorated war general, um, was one of the most proficient in war, one of the best generals, the poster boy of the whole war. The Jedi Council knew this and knew that Palpatine was manipulating this, and knew that in some way, shape, or form, Darth Sidious was manipulating Anakin in some way, shape, or form. Also, there's the Clovis moment in the show. If you know, you know. The whole I want to fight a decorated war general with a metal hand and is only 22 years old. So yeah. I forgot where I was, to be honest. Um, oh yeah, Anakin. So in episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Back to that point. In episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Anakin sounds like a whiny little brat, and he's only 22, so he's still a little bit immature. But throughout the course of the Clone Wars, we see how he kind of has a point. He's won the most battles. He saved basically every member of the Jedi Council at least once, and probably more than once, on a numerous amount of occasions. Saved Obi-Wan probably the most. Is the most decorated war general, and has grown leaps and bounds in the Force over these past 3 years. But they say we do not grant you the rank of master. Now there are two pieces of information for this big piece of thing. There are two ways to becoming a Jedi Master. Either you have your Padawan become a knight, or there are special circumstances in which you are awarded the rank of Master as well. Most often than not, you only become a Jedi Master because your Padawan becomes a knight, which is why Obi-Wan became a Master. So Anakin doesn't become a Master mostly because his Padawan left the Jedi Order because the Council blackballed her and didn't believe her, and further proved how dogmatic they were, and didn't believe one of their own when she was like, "Yeah, I didn't do this. I was being framed," but they all didn't believe her. And especially whenever she has no rhyme or reason or anything of the sort to ever even commit this kind of atrocity to begin with, which is also even more baffling. Also over the course, I'm literally going from point to point as I think about it, so this is gonna just be a rambling session. So if you're not here for that, just like the video, subscribe, and leave. If you're here for that, I thank you. So also, Ahsoka is basically a miniature Anakin, but better. Why do I say that? Because at the beginning of the show, she is basically Anakin throughout the entire prequel trilogy. However, she grows into a much different person because of the way she uses her lightsabers, and because she eventually adapts to blades, and also because of Anakin's and also because of the way Anakin teaches her. He unknowingly prepares her for Order 66, but also he is a man who wants to prepare for all facets and possibilities, and so he prepares his Padawan for the possibility of opponents that are greater than droids, because droids are like, well, most of them are not. They're not that great, and all you have to do is figure out a strategy around them, which most of the time isn't all that hard because at certain points they become predictable. And the droids only started to win because of the simple fact that the droids only started to win because they got a clone and put him into a computer system and then were able to win battles and predict stuff. Because most of the first bit of the war was separatist win, clones and Jedi adapt, clone win, clone win, clone win, separatists steal a clone body, then we start winning. The Jedi and clones are back to winning, and the final steps then happen. As right after the whole the separatists stop losing front, they then just get mollywopped and all in a row. Dooku killed and captured. Grievous is on the run. The separatist homeworld is, I believe it's Radis or Rex or something like that, is on the cliffs of being captured. And so literally they go from back to losing, all in the stream of literal like days, and stuff like that. And so why do I have Clone Wars as not my favorite show in Star Wars? Well, A, it is not Andor and it will never be Andor. So, a few of the reasons why it is like that. Wow, I didn't even have that like that. That's fun. Uh, yeah. So one, Rebels I preferred overall because it's more so a chronological ordering of every single arc. When there's a flashback, it doesn't really take over too much overall. And Rebels is much more condensed in a way as well, and it's much more geared towards the age that I started watching it. Andor, I love it because of no Jedi, and it's just a political thrill, which Star Wars is basically either politics and Jedi or politics and no Jedi. That's basically it. There's basically politics, a war or potential of a war, whether and either Jedi or no Jedi. And Andor is the case of what happens when if you make a political thriller and there aren't any Jedi, but you can still make a masterpiece out of it. So that's what happens with Andor. And then the Clone Wars is most, and then the Clone Wars is among the top ones, but it's not the top one off of what I listed with Andor and Rebels, but also because the early bits, it's hard to follow the sequence of ordering and timeline and stuff, and you can't go back to the beginning of the Clone Wars and just watch it all the way through and watch it from episode 1 until episode 12 of oh, you can't go from episode 1 of season 1 to episode 12 of season 7 and all be one continuous and ordered fashion of the timeline. They also didn't initially intend on it to be so condensed and so chronological. They wanted to go spurts and different parts of the different throughout the war. I will grant it, episode 1 of season 1 does really occur right towards the beginning of the Clone Wars, but then the Malevolence I don't believe happens in the beginning of the Clone Wars at all. And so, really, if you want to watch the beginning to the end, you have to go through a weird whole pathway. And because you have to go through a weird whole pathway, it's a bit weird and a bit difficult and stuff to watch the Clone Wars as a show. Also, Ahsoka is a reason why some people could drop the whole show in the beginning because she's a whiny little brat and doesn't listen at all to save her life, and even disregards clones ordering and Anakin's orderings and all this and that. And so Ahsoka is also a factor as well. But if you do watch the whole show, you get to grow up with Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan. I say all three because Obi-Wan grows from being a recognized Jedi Master to by the end he's on the High Council and has grown a lot. Anakin, Padawan, Knight, basically Jedi Master but not granted. Ahsoka, youngling Padawan, near on the level of a Jedi Knight by the end of the show. And so yeah, that is why the Clone Wars is one of my favorite shows, and that's pretty much all I'll say about the Clone Wars. Now, I do plan on in the future, in a couple of months towards October or September, I will start rewatching a few shows, and the Clone Wars and Rebels will be among them, and I'm going to be doing something very special for the Clone Wars where I'll do a weekly video once I start watching it where I will show all the different arcs I've gone through since the last time, and I'll be going and giving my in-depth thoughts about each and every arc and each and every episode in the sense of the arc will be condensed into that. Let's say the first episode of season 1 is just an arc in and of itself and one quick little thing. But then there's an arc, and then so there are some times where there's an episode or so where there's just nothing and no arc or whatever, and so I'll be going over every arc and or singular 1 to 2 episodes of stuff within the Clone Wars, describing my thoughts, giving a 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 rating, and then also putting them all into a tier list. And by the end of the Clone Wars, I'll have a large, ginormous tier list, and then I'll rank all the ones in the S tier in a video for themselves and stuff like that. Rebels, I just want to kind of rewatch it. It's just a fun show, and I love it. And I have a few video ideas for Star Wars stuff in the near future. But I've done a little bit over a month in Star Wars, and so I'm going to give it a break and do some other stuff. I have a hot takes kind of video, which I try to do about once a month, which I will be doing one on the Young Justice had so much potential soon, and I'll be doing another ranking video on anime soon. And so yeah, I'm also reading more now, and so I'll be getting on into that more, and be on the watch out for Friday whenever I begin the next deep dive series of Marvel Netflix shows. I'm debating on whether or not I'll include Daredevil in the list because I already have a dedicated video to Daredevil and a dedicated video to Daredevil Born Again. If I do something for Daredevil, it'll be at most 5 to 10 minutes. But that's everything I have for you all today. Like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be notified about all future videos. I also finished Lord of the Rings recently, so that'll be Saturday's video. And I have a video already planned and in the works for the following Saturday after that. So subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're at 17 subscribers. We've gotten about 3 to 4 in the past month, which is great, and I love it. And I love all that's been happening recently with the channel. Comment below something about Star Wars: The Clone Wars, whether you agree or disagree with anything I've said. I'd love to chat with anyone who comments on any of the videos. I will see you all Friday. Goodbye, have a good night, and God bless you all.